The Iwata HP.BCN Neo for Iwata. This is a suction feed airbrush from the Neo series. How will it perform? Let's take a look at it right now. So the Neo for Iwata HP.BCN, you can see it's in a nice green box like all of the other Neo products. That way you can easily identify them. So this one has a 1 ounce or 30 ml suction jar, so you can just hook that straight up. And you can see it's in the medium to wide and a little bit in the fine range as well. And this airbrush runs a 0.5 ml needle nozzle setup, so perfect for broader spray and covering larger areas. So this is a siphon feed dual action airbrush, soft effortless coverage at low air pressures, N5 head system, 8 to 20 psi, optimal working pressure. So you get a quick start guide, a nozzle wrench with the Neo branding on the top, no Iwata written on it. So the main difference with the Neo range is that it's the entry level for the Iwata brushes. So these ones aren't made in Japan, these ones are made in Taiwan for Iwata. So you get one of the little big mouth suction feed jars. These are great, nice and solid. They've got a heavyweight sort of plastic lid, but very durable, and because it's not glass, if you do drop it, it's not a big deal. And as I mentioned earlier, this one's a 1 ounce or 30 ml, and if you want to order any extra, then you just use that code, and then that way you'll be sure to get the same size jar if you want them all to match up. And this is the airbrush, so you can see, nice smooth trigger, definitely feels decent, doesn't feel like a super cheap airbrush, but it doesn't have the same feel and smoothness as well as quality as a traditional Iwata brush. And to hook up the jar, very simple, just slip that in and then just twist that, and the jar is just going to sit on like so, and that way you can load it up with a lot more paint if you are spraying a larger area. Okay, so I'm going to put some paint in the jar, unscrew the lid. I'm going to use some of this pre-mixed black, so this has already been thinned with some reducer. Tip that in there, just over half full. The airbrush atomizes really fine, even with a 0.5 ml. So you're going to get a lot of use out of that much paint. So hook up the jar again, press that on, and then twist, and it'll fit in nice and snug, and there's no chance that you're going to drop it. I'm going to remove the air cap because I prefer spraying without one. Just don't drop your airbrush. Now pressing down for air, pulling back for paint. You can see I'm straight away getting a decent amount of coverage. It's also really good if you just want to detail as well with it, even with a 0.5. Get a nice consistent line. Super smooth trigger. I assume that if you are looking to buy one of these, you're more interested in coverage. So you can see how quickly I can coat a section. It does it nice and easy. And then you can also use it for finer detailing as well. It's actually quite nice not having a cup in the way, because you've got a perfect line of sight. So when you are doing any finer detail with this brush, you can see over the top of that airbrush very easily. You know exactly where you're going, as you don't have a jar in the way at all. And it's quite comfortable to hold on to that jar when painting. Gives you a bit more stability when you're starting out. So nice and smooth. You can see how easily it does broader spray. Even thicker lines, just move back a bit further. And then, like I said earlier, up close for those finer details. The trigger feels nice and smooth, and with that jar underneath, you've got plenty of paint to last you through any of your projects. The Iwata Neo HP.BCN is a great suction feed airbrush, perfect for those projects where you need to use a lot more paint, and it's just a great addition to your airbrush collection.